Hi there, I'm nicodehaan, and welcome to Living a Primal Lifestyle, where we explore a return to a more balanced and natural wild world.
To recover our natural health and regain our rights and freedoms. And I'm Ellen Dhaan.
And it's a beautiful day in Durango, Colorado right now. Let's see, put it up on the screen here. It is 77 degrees, a high of 84 today, so it's gonna be warm, and a low of 58. It's been relatively cool.
And the humidity is down. Of course, this is prime wildfire weather. So
yeah, true enough.
We're keeping an eye on that.
Yeah, that's for sure. Please subscribe to our channels, YouTube channel, and what's the other one?
Odysee.
Odysee, yeah, that's it. And hit the subscribe button and the like button. It's been a while since.
And hit notifications too, because you hit that bell, because you want to, because we don't publish every week. So when we do, you want to know about it. So you want to be notified.
It's been about 6 weeks, I think. We've been busy. It's springtime, time to clean up the yard, a lot of things going on. And we took vacation.
We had a celebration in Oregon for my great niece's graduation from high school.
Yeah, and we took a nice, about a week-long drive through.
We went through 2 national parks.
Yeah, and we went through Utah, through we took 95, which was a very scenic ride through the Canyonlands.
Oh, it's gorgeous. Through the Canyonlands National Park. I never saw anything like that. That was just spectacular.
And then we went through Nevada, Highway 50, which is also scenic, a little more desolate. Then we went up through Reno, or a little bit of north of Reno, and then went to Lake Shasta. Mount Shasta.
Mount Shasta
and the Lassen Volcano.
The Lassen Volcano National Park. And so we finally got to use our senior passes for the national parks.
That's a lifetime pass. Pretty cool. It's good to get old, you know.
Well, it's definitely good to get old for a lot of reasons.
Yeah. So also, we have some links down below about Mother Earth Labs and some other ones on Amazon, so you can check those out. We'll be talking about some of that today too.
Yeah, a lot of them refer to what we're going to talk about today.
Yeah, if you have any questions or comments, you can let's see, hit me up at nicodehaan@me.com. There it is again. And of course, we look at mainstream news stories about anti-aging, natural health, history, climate, as well as our freedoms, and we do our own analysis. So all topics for today's show are listed in the show notes listed below. There's also a video in there in the description. So if you have any questions, comments, hit that button, or you can leave the comments also on YouTube. And most of the time I get those. Facebook, and also Odysee, yeah. So let's get started here. Let's see.
So we had just a lovely experience seeing family and celebrating, and it kind of brings home for us the concept of aging gracefully. And because seeing some of the people that we saw who are younger than we are and are not as vigorous as we are, and it just reminded us of, well, what are we doing to support that graceful aging and that feeling of well-being and avoiding illness and avoiding infections and so on.
Yeah. So the last show we talked about methylene blue, we talked about DMSO, castor oil. Those things are some of the things that we use internally and externally. And so you can check that previous issue out. That was in May. Yeah, so we're kind of continuing that with some of the other products that we use. And today's show is really about these products here. The first one is, what is NAD plus and why is it important? So let's go through that a little bit.
Okay.
NAD plus is found in every cell in the body, and it is essential for creating cellular energy and maintaining cellular health. Levels of this critical molecule correlate with health status in aging.
Yeah, it's important to note that our bodies make NAD plus. So NAD plus levels decline with age. Despite their central role in cellular functions, the body does not have an endless supply of NAD plus. In fact, it decreases with age.
Yeah, NAD plus precursors can be used to increase NAD plus levels in the body. Human clinical trials have demonstrated that the precursors to NAD plus, including NR,
Including
and
nicotinamide riboside,
yeah, and nicotine.
tinamide mononucleotide.
Thank you very much.
NMN.
Can safely and effectively increase the NAD plus levels in your body. The one we use during the research, we discovered that we like the effects of the NMN as opposed to NR. Some people use NR, some
Yes,
people use
and I don't
NMN.
like the rush of the nicotinamide. So
Yeah, well,
Yeah. Well,
it's been very effective. We've been using it, I think
quite a few years.
7 or 8 years
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
So,
And we use it with transresveratrol, which we'll talk about.
Yeah.
In a minute.
So open any biology textbook and you'll learn about NAD plus, which stands for
Nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide.
yeah, it's a critical and coenzyme found in every cell in the body that's involved in hundreds of metabolic processes like cellular energy and mitochondrial health. And it is hard at work in the cells of humans and other animals, yeast, bacteria, even plants. So it's in every cell, pretty much of every living thing.
Scientists have known, and I'm just going to call it NAD.
Right.
Scientists have known about NAD plus since it was first discovered in 1906. And our understanding of its importance has continued to evolve. For example, the NAD plus precursor niacin played a role in mitigating pellagra, which was a fatal disease that plagued the American South in the 1900s. Scientists at the time identified that milk and yeast, which both contain NAD plus precursors, alleviated the symptoms. Over time, scientists have identified several NAD plus precursors, including nicotinic acid, nicotinamide, and nicotinamide riboside, among others, which make use of natural pathways that lead to NAD plus. Think of NAD plus precursors as different routes you can take to get to the same destination. All the pathways get you to the same place, but by different modes of transportation.
Now, recently, NAD plus has become a prized molecule in scientific research because of its central role in biological functions. The scientific community has been researching how NAD plus relates to notable benefits in animals that to continue to inspire researchers to translate these findings to humans. So exactly how does NAD play such an important role? In short, it's a coenzyme or helper molecule binding to other enzymes to help cause reactions on the molecular level.
But the body does not have an endless supply of NAD+. In fact, it, as we mentioned before, it actually declines with age. The history of NAD+ research and its recent establishment in the scientific community has opened the floodgates for scientists to investigate maintaining NAD+ levels and getting more NAD+. And there's a nice little chart.
Yeah, and there's a little bit of history on here, which we're going to skim over. You can read on your own. And we go to the nuance of the NAD+. Nuance. Our current understanding of the importance of NAD+ really began in the 1960s using nuclear extracts from hen liver. French scientists identified a process called poly-ADP ribosylation, where NAD+ is broken down into two compound parts, one of which is
nicotinamide,
which should be easy to remember. My name is part of that.
Nico.
Yeah, so it gets recycled, while the other one is the ADP ribose meets up with a protein. The research formed foundation of the field of PARPs, or poly-ADP ribose
polymerases,
which is a group of proteins that rely on NAD+ to perform cellular functions. So the PARPs are similar to another group of proteins called sirtuins. Yeah, in which they both only function in the presence of NAD+.
Scientists often refer to sirtuins as guardians of the genome for their role in regulating cellular homeostasis. Homeostasis involves keeping the cell in balance. Sirtuins are a group of proteins that were first discovered in 1970s, but their dependence on NAD+ was not realized until the 1990s. Okay, next and without NAD+, SIR2 does nothing. That was the critical finding on the arc of sirtuin biology.
Yeah, knowing this created a clear link between sirtuins and metabolism. It also clued scientists into a crosstalk between biological functions. In other words, the metabolism is intrinsically related to other biological processes. Additionally, it inspired more research on the topic previously overlooked.
Yeah, the researcher said there are maybe 12,000 papers on sirtuins now, and at the time we discovered the NAD+ dependent deacetylase activity, the number of papers was in the hundreds.
Yeah, humans got NAD+ from their diet by way of foods made up of amino acids that are also precursors to NAD+. However, NR is highly effective precursor to NAD+. If NAD+ precursors are different, which are different routes you can take to the destination, NR is often thought to be the best available. We concluded actually that NMN was which converts to the NAD+, it converts to NR, and that's a better route for us. So you can do your own research on
and
that.
Several clinical trials support the use of NR and NMN. And a Japanese study published in Frontiers in Nutrition found that giving adults 250 milligrams of NMN per day increased their levels of NAD+ by approximately 40%. The outcomes were safely achieved, no adverse effects, and were maintained for the duration of the trials, which was 8 weeks for basis and 12 weeks for NMN. But you do have to keep taking the MN, and because the study showed that after it was discontinued, the NAD+ levels returned to their pre-supplementation level.
Yeah, and actually, when we started taking these things, we kind of took different amounts.
Yeah,
we started at like I think we started at 500. After a few months, I kind of upped it to 1,000 at the advice of some researchers. And you were
Dr.
taking,
Sinclair, was
yeah,
it?
Dr. David Sinclair, and he was taking 1,000, and that's what I decided. I said, if
Yeah,
he's going to take
and I take
750. You said.
Yeah, 750. Yeah.
And then the same thing with the transveratol.
Transveratol.
Yeah. So I just wanted to
Okay,
mention
it says exercise may help maintain NAD+ levels. A study published in Nature Aging examined metabolites in the muscle tissue from younger and older adults, finding that adults who exercised rigorously had NAD+ levels similar to those of young adults. This study specifically looked at muscle tissue, so there's still some work to be done to understand actually how exercise affects your systemic NAD+ levels.
Yeah.
So but NAD+ is just very critical. It's in every cell in our bodies, and so where we were after is, and it has to do with aging, and it decreases with age. Just to summarize everything, and if you don't have sufficient levels of NAD+, it leads to senescence of cells, death of cells.
so it causes more wrinkles, and you start showing signs of aging. And also, I've really noticed a difference in the functional level of my body. What I'm able to do now at the age of almost 82 is very similar to how I felt in my 40s.
Right.
So
yeah,
and I actually do well. I think it's because of the exercise that I do in jiu-jitsu. That certainly helps.
Well, you stay active, and you stay flexible.
Yeah,
and those two are the
and stay
keys.
in the sun a lot, in the morning sun. I take walks
and ground ourselves standing on the ground.
So there's a lot of things involved, but these are really a help. The next article is called "The Science Behind NMN." And
Okay.
so
And
we'll
so
go
what
into
we
that.
got here is
And this is kind of a summary. I just wanted to give you a little bit more information. There's also a video at the end of our notes that talks about this whole thing we're talking about, maybe a little bit more in depth by a doctor who's been doing the research for many years. So I wanted to give you that.
It's very interesting. And it also, for those of you who don't really want to sit down and read all these pages, it's a nice video. It's 72 minutes, I believe.
Yeah.
And but it really covers everything nicely, and you can listen and absorb that way. Okay, so again, this kind of revisits a little bit. So we'll just go through it again. Across the kingdom of life, an increase in intracellular levels of NAD+ triggers shifts that enhance survival, including boosting energy production and upregulating cellular repair. In fact, the slow process of aging has been described as a cascade of robustness breakdown triggered by a decrease in systemic NAD+ biosynthesis and the resultant functional defects in susceptible organs and tissues. In other words, your body starts to age.
Yeah, it's kind of like you see wrinkles, you see the changes in the outer regions because that's visual, but you don't know what's really
happening to your organ.
Yeah, the same kind of thing is really happening to every cell in your body.
Yeah, aging is marked by epigenetic shifts, genomic instability, altered nutrient sensing ability, telomere attrition, and those telomeres are the little attachments to your genes that when you start out as a baby are quite long, and little by little they're used up,
and they get shorter,
and your telomeres get shorter, and as they get shorter, you age.
Right.
And mitochondrial dysfunction, cellular senescence, again, death of the cells, stem cell exhaustion, and dysregulated intercellular communication.
Yeah, by middle age, your NAD+ levels have plummeted to half that of your youth. They really say it starts at about in your 30s.
In your 30s, yeah.
So numerous studies have demonstrated that boosting these levels increase insulin sensitivity, reverses mitochondrial dysfunction, and extends the lifespan. NAD+ levels can be increased by activating enzymes that stimulate synthesis of NAD+ by inhibiting the enzyme CD38 that degrades NAD+, and by supplementing with NAD precursors. So we talked about those
including
precursors.
The NR and the NMN.
Yeah, a conceptual framework called NAD World, formulated over the last decade by the
developmental biologist at the Washington University School of Medicine.
Yeah, and as a
he
critical,
he suggests that MNN. Go ahead.
Yeah, he suggests that it's a critical systemic signaling molecule that maintains biological robustness of the communication network.
Taken orally, NMN is rapidly absorbed and converted to NAD+. In numerous studies, supplementation with NMN has increased NAD+ biosynthesis, suppressed age-related adipose tissue inflammation, enhanced insulin secretion and insulin action, improved mitochondrial function, improved neuronal function in the brain, and more. So we're looking in this article at the science behind NMN, its stability, its possible pharmacokinetics. Okay.
That means how things get absorbed.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. The movement, kinetics, the movement,
transport
function, and ability to induce biosynthesis. In other words, your own body creating NAD+.
Right.
Supplementing NMN may be an effective nutraceutical anti-aging intervention with beneficial effects on a wide array of physiological functions.
And pathways to NMN in the human body, veritable symphony of interlocking transformations allows NAD+ to be both synthesized and regulated in the body. It is well known that vitamin B3 is a building block for the NMN or NAD, I should say. It is also widely recognized that MNN is a potent precursor for NAD+, though NMN is naturally found in small amounts in fruits and vegetables, such as avocados, broccoli, cabbage,
Edamame.
and cucumbers. In animals, most NMN is synthesized through the vitamin B3 in the form of nicodehaan. Yeah. There's a lot more information here. We're just going over the highlights. So the NMN levels fall with age, and aging itself has been shown to significantly compromise the body's conversion of NMN to NAD+.
Yeah, okay. It says NMN is clearly a fountain of youth. But what about, they did quite a lot of studies with mice, and it had with very, very good results in all kinds of areas like immunity and aging and so on. And it says, what about humans? And the researcher has said that NMN may improve adult human metabolism, rendering it more like that of someone 10 or 20 years younger. And we mentioned Dr. David Sinclair. His team is now studying NMN in humans, and he's at Harvard University's noted anti-aging researcher whose research on resveratrol, NAD+, and sirtuins is world-renowned. He's also conducting human trials. He is taking NMN himself, and he has said his lipid profile has improved dramatically, and he feels more energetic, and that his blood markers at nearly 60 years old are close to those of a 31.
Yeah. And I think that's it for this.
Yeah, so it's NMN is quite a, NAD is so important, and NMN clearly is a precursor so that it helps your body and supports your body in making it for itself.
Yeah. So they mentioned in that article about the DC38. CD38.
So we have an article.
Yes, so we have an article. If you're interested in the longevity world for a while, you've likely got the main acronyms down by now, from NAD to NR to NMN. However, the less talked about molecule also involved in healthy aging is the CD38, which is an enzyme that depletes NAD+ stores when elevated.
Yeah, there was when CD38 is elevated.
Yeah, and the way I understood this, just from my own perspective, is that the CD38 is around every cell in your body, and it decides what to let in and what to keep out. Well, and with our modern lifestyle and our changes in diet over the centuries, this has become bombarded with things that normally, if you think about the chemicals in the air, the chemicals in the water, the chemicals in the soil, hence in our food, then we're getting bombarded with things that this molecule has to kind of guard against. Well, and because it becomes overworked, now we're letting stuff in our cells.
Well, it attacks something, and it opens the door that shouldn't be open.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's my own.
Yeah. So version. It says, just to reiterate here, it's a molecule that can act as an enzyme or a receptor, primarily involved with immune functioning, cellular signaling, and energy metabolism. It is most often found on the surface of immune cells. That's your T cells, your B cells, and the natural killer cells that attack anything that's not supposed to be in there. Yeah. But they've also been but it has also been detected inside cells, such as the mitochondria.
Yeah, so the role of CD38 are wide-reaching, including modulating immune cell differentiation, regulating cell recruitment, and promoting the release of pro-inflammatory compounds called cytokines during immune responses. Due to this activity with immune activation, CD38 is often used as a biomarker for studying immunity.
Yeah, so again, it releases pro-inflammatory compounds. So another enzymatic role of CD38 is its ability to convert NAD, which is, again, just to remind you, nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide, into a molecule called cyclic ADP ribose. and we need that molecule to regulate calcium signaling, which is a crucial component of cell division, neurotransmitter release, muscle contraction, and more.
Yeah. So CD38 and NAD, what's the link? NAD is the vital coenzyme needed by all human cells for energy metabolism, DNA repair, cellular survival, and much more. So CD38 is a major consumer of NAD plus in mammals, yeah, making it a NAD depleting
right.
enzyme.
This is because CD38 needs NAD plus for many cellular processes it plays a role in, meaning the NAD plus gets depleted when CD38 is more active.
Yeah, so if you've been being bombarded by all these insults that our body is trying to get rid of, you can see how NAD gets,
well, how CD38 gets more active.
Yeah,
and
which helps deplete the
right.
NAD plus, right?
Yeah, and it says that the cellular processes are normal, but overexpression or hyperactivity of CD38 can drain those NAD plus levels, which are already depleted with age. And studies show that NAD plus could drop as much as 65% between the ages of 30 and 70.
Yeah. I think that's in our modern lifestyle for sure.
Yeah.
So low NAD plus levels are implicated in cellular age-related disorders and excess DC38 activity.
CD.
So CD, yeah, with age can be one cause of this decline. Research has shown that CD38 is required for age-related loss of NAD plus and mitochondrial dysfunction, two essential functions of accelerated aging.
Yeah, so when CD38 is more active than it's supposed to be, then it does contribute to age-related losses. And in addition to aging, increasing CD38 activity, pro-inflammatory states such as infection, illness, excess body fat, metabolic dysfunction, and most chronic conditions can also trigger an overexpression of the CD38.
So can NR inhibit CD38? One way to counteract the adverse effects of CD38 overactivity through NAD plus precursor, including NR and NMN. These molecules can restore some of the lost NAD plus, helping to support cellular processes like the DNA repair, the signaling, and the energy production.
And
a lot more in here that you can read.
Yeah, and it just goes into more detail.
Another thing I want to mention: this site is a product information for NR.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
It's
yeah, I've done the research.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah. So CD38 isn't the only thing that depletes NAD plus. In addition, overactive CD38, some of the main reasons that humans can experience decline is with the NAD plus level includes
aging, which is advancing age is the most well-known link to NAD plus loss. With age, NAD plus production declines at the same time as the elevated NAD plus consumption, such as from the CD38.
Yes, DNA damage, of course, and repair. High amounts of DNA damage and require enzymes called the PARPs to repair it. These are also NAD plus consuming enzymes, further depleting the NAD plus stores. We accumulate more DNA damage with age, UV radiation, smoking, environmental toxin exposure, oxidant stress, requiring more of this to make repairs.
An impaired mitochondrial function, mitochondrial health and NAD plus stores are like a vicious circle in that reduced NAD plus leads to impaired mitochondrial function, which further lowers the NAD plus levels. That's kind of a vicious cycle.
Yeah.
Chronic inflammatory states, pro-inflammatory states, including chronic illnesses, triggered the upregulation of CD38, which again circles around and depletes the NAD plus and impairs the mitochondrial health.
Yeah, so they talk about the metabolic dysfunction, also diet and lifestyle.
Yeah, and again, we come right back to ultra-processed foods, high sugar foods, excessive alcohol, excess body weight, sedentary lifestyle, and chronically poor sleep.
They all play a role.
They all play a role.
Yeah.
So,
And then
okay.
they talk about a product after that. So you can now see that the cycle that takes place by aging, especially in our modern environment.
Mm-hmm.
So the next thing I wanted to
Wait a minute,
cover,
how many times do we have to talk about how obesity and diabetes and respiratory problems, circulatory problems, all these things are rampant in our society, and
Yeah. And if we don't understand that diet, our environment, what we take in naturally doesn't play a role in this, then you're just not up to sync on what really causes health. You have to understand what we take in, whether it's through the food, through the air, through the water, plays a whole role in this. And we have insults
to
all
the
over.
earth.
Yeah. So first of all, your diet needs to be really, really good. You have to pick the best food, and you have to do your own research on that to understand what we eat and why we eat what we do. And then you have to start a supplemental regimen of some of these things that we talk about on our show to help us because of all these insults.
Yeah. Well, and our goal is always we don't take prescription pills,
Not at all.
but we take supplements that are designed to enable our bodies to continue functioning at a very high level.
Yeah, and instead of all the pharmaceuticals that people our age are usually taking, there's so many. If you read all those little prints from there, and they don't put them all on the TV anymore.
Well,
these are all
a law
things.
was passed. They're going to have to.
Yeah, well, hopefully
soon.
But what we're talking about does a better way of keeping you healthy and keeping you in top shape, and it doesn't have the side effects of the pharmaceuticals.
Right, and there's no drug interactions.
Yeah. And a lot of these things you can take and dropping these pharmaceuticals. You can talk to your doctor. If your doctor doesn't understand, get a different doctor. I haven't really been to the doctor in the last 20 years. So, most of the mainstream people I found just don't understand what we're trying to do. They're being influenced by the drug companies because that's where they get their education.
Well, you get bombarded by advertising on TV, and every commercial break has some kind of pharmaceutical in it.
So we're bombarded.
And no matter what you're feeling, there's a pill for that.
Yeah, exactly. So let's go on now. So now we want to talk about resveratrol.
Yeah.
And what are the benefits?
Resveratrol is a powerful form of naturally occurring polyphenol, which is resveratrol. It plays an essential role in plant defects, protecting against plant defense, protecting against pathogens and environmental stresses.
Yeah, this is found primarily in the skins of grapes, berries, and plants like Japanese knotweed. It's linked to various health benefits associated with drinking red wine, which we like to do now and then. Beyond its traditional benefits, resveratrol has practical applications in managing and reducing the risk of neurodegenerative diseases, cardiovascular diseases, and certain cancers.
Yeah, and we take it. It's part of the precursor program that we have with
enhances the NN. So it kind of gives it a fivefold more benefit that's the way I understand it.
Okay. Resveratrol is the active bioavailable form of resveratrol, a polyphenol known for its antioxidative and anti-inflammatory properties. As a phytoalexin, resveratrol acts as a critical defense substance in plants produced in response to stress, infection, or fungal attack. It works as both a survival mechanism for plants and a source of significant health benefits for humans.
Yeah, so it's really found in the skins of red grapes, different types of berries like blueberries, raspberries, and knotweed, Japanese knotweed. The benefit of this starts with the antioxidant capability, but it's increasingly recognized for its potential to improve heart health, enhance neurological resilience, and reduce the risk of some chronic diseases.
Chronic disease.
Chronic, yeah. That's newspaper, right?
No, it's okay. overview of polyphenols.
Yeah, I just wanted to go over just some of these things, starting with this. It comes with a wide array of preventative and therapeutic benefits.
So the first benefit they mention is neurodegenerative diseases. So resveratrol protects against disorders such as Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, and Huntington's by modulating degenerative pathways, protecting the neurons, and inhibiting the toxic effects of beta amyloid protein.
Also, cardiovascular health. It enhances heart function and reduces inflammation and lowers blood pressure.
Cancer prevention, neutralizes free radicals, inhibits tumor growth, particularly in cancers like colon, prostate, and breast cancer.
Cholesterol management, blocks the cholesterol oxidation, reducing the LDL levels and lowering cardiovascular risk.
Diabetes management, resveratrol protects beta cells from glucose toxicity and improves glycemic control.
It also obesity controlling, increases fat oxidation, including lipogenesis, and boosts energy expenditure, adding weight
It reduces lipogenesis.
Yeah, excuse me.
Yeah.
And adding weight loss and maintenance.
Yeah, aiding, yeah. And the benefits show that regular consumption of resveratrol plays a vital role in preventing and managing chronic diseases, which makes it a key component of preventative health strategies.
Yeah. So we mentioned the video.
Wait, there was more on this article.
Oh, okay. Go ahead. I just wanted to mention this.
Okay, go ahead.
Here. It's a very, very comprehensive
Video
on
YouTube.
Mm-hmm. And I think it's Nadaline Nidem, I think is her name. And she has a podcast that we listen to often, and especially when she brings information like this.
She has great guests.
Yeah, she has some really good guests, and she's trying to discover, just like we do, about what the heck is going on, why are we having risks and things like that. So let's get back to the article here.
Yeah, resveratrol and longer life, and it says that resveratrol can mimic the effects of caloric restriction. So by activating biological pathways similar to those triggered by dietary restriction, resveratrol promotes the body's mechanisms for longevity, offering a practical way to enhance health and potentially increase lifespan without significant dietary alterations. Now that,
doesn't mean you can go to McDonald's every day.
Right. Yeah. You still have to be eating sensibly and local sourcing and all the good things.
Yeah, and the difference between resveratrol and just the plain stuff is there's two forms of the same compound, but they differ significantly in their stability and their effectiveness.
Resveratrol is the more bioactive form, meaning it's better absorbed and utilized by the body. This is primarily due to its chemical structure, which allows it to be more stable under various physiological conditions.
Yeah, in contrast, resveratrol can exist in both trans and cis forms, with the cis form being less stable and less effective.
Yeah,
I think that's pretty much. Oh, there's a little bit more.
And then there's a question: why should you take supplements? And it says, while resveratrol is naturally found in foods like grapes, blueberries, and particularly in Japanese knotweed, achieving the therapeutic doses required for significant health benefits through diet alone is too challenging. This is where high-dose supplements become essential.
Yeah, so these supplements offer concentrated form of this potential
potent
polyphenol.
Yeah,
and I think that's all we highlighted in here. Some references, so you can check that out.
There's more information in this article. You can read it for yourself.
Yeah, and I just wanted to show that some of the links we have talk about NMN. This is the one we use.
Yeah, it just happens to be the
and
one.
There's a link below to this, and also I think I can scroll up. It talks about the resveratrol also on Amazon, and there's a lot of things that we take that are on there, so you can check that part of it out. But that's pretty much what we're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah. And, we're not doctors, and we're reporting on what has worked for us.
Yeah, and what we've learned from watching people discuss these compounds for the last
Yeah, well, we do quite a bit of research.
we've been doing this show since 2006 to 2007, maybe something like that. So as long as I've been doing jiu-jitsu, we've been doing it. So it's almost about 20 years. We've been
Oh, the deer walking by on the street.
Wonderful.
Uh-oh.
Anyway, that's it. Pretty much. I've got a call coming in, so I guess we have to go.
Well.
Anyway, thanks a lot for sticking around. We appreciate it. And so I guess we'll see you next time.
Yeah. Be well, be safe.
Bye-bye now.